Howdy there, gang. I'm going to do this for a friend of mine who saw that I own the Chroma console, and he was like, hey, can you use that on a pedal board? And I was like, well, no. And he's like, why not? And I said, well, you can, if you really want to, but I know that he's a traditional rock and roll kind of guitar player, and he only uses a few effects, and he likes to turn them on and off very quickly. And the Chroma console, the preset switching is a little kludgy, right? It's not the best. You can do it, but it's not the best. But that's not what's great about the Chroma console. It's a great effect platform, and you can get some amazing sounds out of it. So I wanted to show you 8 presets that I made, and hopefully that gives you some idea and gets you started. And also, there's a reason I say that the preset switching is kludgy, and you'll see that why in a little while. But let's start at the beginning. I'm going to focus the camera. I'm just using my, part squire direct into this, and then we're going into the Thermion Freeway, which is set very clean. So. Right? Yeah, and I know my low D string goes out of tune on this guitar because I'm in DADGAD, and it just happens, so just deal with it. And we're going direct from the Thermion Freeway right into Pro Tools. There's nothing else. No post-production. What you hear is what you get. So let's tilt the camera over to the Chroma console, and I will also make it larger in post-production. So this is the first preset that I made, and it's probably the most normal out of all 8. It involves a drive, a doubler, the collage, which is its own thing, and the filter. So here's what that sounds like, the unaffected sound again. So you can hear the collage is set up as a repeating delay on the diffusion channel. If I turn that off, nothing. So, switching presets to preset 2. Now, I'm going to go back to preset 1 quickly. You hold the switch, you choose up or down with the switches, and then hold it again. That's how you change the presets. And on the fly, I don't think that's very effective, but you may not need that. So here's preset 1 again. And there's like a little repeaty kind of reversey thing on that, even though it's not the reverse setting on the diffusion channel. So, this is the most basic because there's no secondary functions chosen and there's no capture chosen on this preset. Okay? preset 2. So what's going on here? So again, we have the drive under the character section. And I think I might have adjusted the sensitivity a little bit there. But otherwise, there's no other secondary function going on in the drive section. On the movement section, I'm employing the pitch. And there is secondary on that channel quite a bit. So the secondary functions, you press A and B, and then you can choose secondary functions, which are listed below the channels, below the knobs. And the secondary functions are different for each effect, so you have to read the manual for that. So it's called drift, the secondary function, and effect volume. Usually the secondary function of the lower row is effect volume or blend mix, if you will, for each individual channel. So that's important because it can get out of hand really quick unless you can adjust the secondary effect volume of each effect, right? So this pitch, I'm definitely using secondary functions of the mix blend and the drift, and I'm also using it. And you can see on the diffusion channel where it's wobbling, you can see the light hopefully moving there. That's because I used there's other things going on. There's secondary functions going on, and that's the movement of such, for lack of a better term. And the choice for that channel is cascade. And the cascade, now the diffusion channel, you got to read the manual for these because they're mostly delays and reverbs and space kind of things, but they each do individual and wonderful things on their own, and that's why the secondary functions and the capture, which we will get to, is important. So this one is set to cascade, and that's, let's see, right. So it's a delay-ish that kind of feeds back into itself. I'd have to look at the manual again and see. I just thought it was cool. And then the last channel, the texture is set up for interference, which, think about what interference, it's exactly what you would think it would sound like. Kind of like a broken transmission, sort of. So that's preset 2. That's preset 3. Now, this is the first preset I started using not only secondary functions, but capture. And that's important because you're adjusting the secondary functions of each channel, and capture, which is C and D. You press C and D, and then you can move the knobs, press it again, and go back to the original positions, and they will morph between those two positions. Now, there's a lot of jumping back and forth between the capture settings on the diffusion channel, so much so that's where you're getting that kind of switching going on. It's really cool, and it's endless what you can do. Texture is set to cassette. So that's new for this one. This is set to reels, which is a delay. It's a tape delay, but you can make the tape delay randomly go reeling back and forth, which is amazing. And the movement channel is set to doubler again, except it's white because it's moving between different settings very, very quickly. And randomly. So, preset 3. Preset 4, again, this is now still utilizing both the secondary functions and the capture. So channel 1 is using the sweeten setting, which is a preamp, and it too has secondary functions. This is using the tremolo function, but in a very subtle way. I think you can agree. You can see it moving, right? So there's your rate. The diffusion is using the collage again, but the texture, we're using the broken, which is exactly like it sounds, like a broken sort of patch. And you can see the movement in the patches that were stored with the capture. Now, this is where I say the preset thing gets kludgy. So now we're going to preset 5, right? So I press, and I go to the next one, save it. oh, wait, there's nothing there. And there's nothing there through the next 3 either. Because even though I thought I was changing to the right bank to save the next 4 presets, somehow I messed it up. You can see this is not very user-friendly. Oh, God. All right. So they ended up in the bank after that bank, which is just, what? And I thought I was being careful, but obviously not enough. And you can see how tap dancey and weird this can get, and it's just not very conducive. Anyway, here's patch number 5, employing the swell functions very subtly, and the doubler but used in a new way, the reels, and the filter. So you can hear how it swells up very gently, but kind of quickly. It's not a slow swell. And you can see how much capture is going on in that preset. It's just freaking out. So there's like a lot of stutter in the delay line. Yeah, but it can also get as freaky as you want it to be if you want it. So that might be the second most normal patch. So that's 5, 6. So lots of cool things going on there. The preamp, again, in the first position. In the second position, we have a tremolo with a lot of movement. You can see it's freaking out. In the third position, diffusion, we have reverse, obviously, but the reverse itself has a lot of capture written into it, as you can see on the changing bulb. And in the fourth position, under texture, we're using interference again, and that's how we get this. Kind of a cool patch. Number 7. All right, so that's number 7. Fuzz. Phaser, obviously. With capture. Collage with capture, but subtle capture. Let's see what happens if... Yeah. So obviously more feedback on the delay in the diffusion. And we're on the filter here on texture. And I'll point out that some people have missed, apparently. There's a master mix knob. So if anything gets too out of hand, turn it down. And preset 8. Yeah, so I hadn't used vibrato yet. So now we have a vibrato preset. Drive, vibrato with movement and capture. Diffusion is reels, the tape reel to reel thing with a good bit. You can see where the light's switching to blue. And texture is broken. It's the broken setting also with some movement. But like I said, the last 6 of these 8, I have done not only secondary settings, but capture. And to me, that's the real magic of this. I think now I'm going to go back and create 4 new presets where I accidentally skipped over the entire bank while making my presets, so that I'll have 12 presets and they'll all be in a row, and that's probably more than I ever could use. But yeah, I mean, it's a cool thing. It's a cool thing. I like it. I can't see switching that thing in performance and getting it accurate. So that's where I say that the preset thing is kludgy. I mean, I missed a whole bank. And I've owned hologram effects stuff in the past. So I know how the thing works, and I still missed it. And so now I have a whole bank with nothing, but I'll fill it up. And yeah, so I know that's a pretty rough go of it, but I just wanted not only you all, but my friend who asked me to know, like, this is what it can do. It can do a lot. And the sound is super duper hi-fi. I love the way it sounds. I love the effects. I love the capture. I love the secondary channels that you can change things on. Highly recommend using the effect level settings. Oh, and by the way, to save a preset, it's BC, and then you move it to the preset you want and press it. But read the manual on this one. I must tell you, read the frickin' manual or you will be out in the wilderness. I was making mistakes even though I've owned their effects before. So anyway, I hope that helps. Sorry if it was too long. I just wanted to show you what I did. And I may use it on a board, but it would be, I'd have to program the effects according to, say, a set list, and then have them all in order, which since I've already created 8 isn't going to happen, and then press between songs. But during songs, maybe you're smarter than I am, probably are. Maybe you could do it. But I also found that the switching system is not exactly the most responsive for that. But it's a great unit, and I think Hologram should be commended because it's cool. It's cool. All the sounds are great. All right. Thanks for watching. See you later.